Man, they ain't finna put a hook on this bitch. I told these boys that I'm next up. They too busy playing catch up. I'm aiming to your neck up. Who the fuck gon' really come check us? Y'all little niggas been running my patience.
You're locked in with Atlanta's hottest hip hop station. The Hype 87.3.
Holla!
That's right. It is your girl, TampaMystic, and we are live right here in ATL on a rainy Saturday. The Hype 87.3. I heard we got Birmingham, Beezy checking in. What's up, Beezy? How you doing?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Thank you for being here today.
For sure.
Appreciate you.
For having me.
Absolutely. Give us a brief introduction of who Beezy is.
Beezy. I'm born and raised in Birmingham. Birmingham just like any other city. It's whatever you make it out to be. So
Yeah.
I've been on the music scene for a little minute. I work with a lot of big artists down there. So shout out to all the independent artists that's doing their thing back at home.
I love it. I like your hair too, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Whoever gets you right, got you right. It looks really nice.
Oh yeah, shout out to Dominique. That's who do my hair. Anybody know Dominique? Y'all get out of she in the Tarrant area. So
shout out Dominique. You
sure.
did that.
For sure.
So growing up in Birmingham, would you say that the city of Birmingham shaped who you are right now as an artist, as a man, your hustle, your grind?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's whatever you make it out to be. I came from half and half rough area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Grew up in a single parent home. So, my mom did the best she could, so I just adapted and made it.
Absolutely. Does your mom still live in Birmingham?
Yes, she does, but she just recently passed away. So,
so sorry to hear that.
So that's another reason why I do it too. So she was one of my biggest inspirations. So,
Man.
My mom was a hustler. So,
That is so difficult. Gosh, my condolences to you.
Thank you.
I know that's a very sensitive subject.
Most definitely.
When did she pass?
She passed about a month ago. She had cancer.
So like brand new.
Yeah, it's real fresh.
How are you able to sit here and hold it together? Like I'm about to cry for you.
Honestly, it's just God.
Yeah.
I know who my mom was. I knew she wouldn't want me to be sad and be down. So I just continue just making her proud and just keep going with the gift that God gave me.
Absolutely. Well, she's here with you spiritually.
Most definitely.
Always.
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 Sure.
That's what my mom and my sister both passed, and gosh, I know that they're with me every step of the way. So like you said, we got to keep going.
Most definitely.
One more question about that. I don't want to pry too much, but losing your mom, how did that change your outlook on life?
It gave me a bigger perspective. It gave me a bigger perspective. Like I said, I wouldn't wish that on nobody.
Yeah.
Just going through the whole process with cancer and just, watching the transformation, from going good to bad. It changed your whole aspect.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I was there with my mom every step of the way. So, I seen it. I watched it. You know what I'm saying? So, it definitely changed me a lot.
It's difficult. My sister passed of cancer too at 41, and same thing. I just watched her go from this big, healthy, beautiful woman to like just diminishing away, and it's so difficult.
It is.
It's so difficult, man. Well, again, my sincerest condolences. I know how difficult it is.
Most definitely. So I dedicated half of my project to her too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that's all I can do is just pray and just keep going. So I just been staying busy and just continue just keeping my mind clear, keep my mental clear, and just keep going.
Absolutely. That's the thing, is we have to stay busy and active. Otherwise, we're going to sit home and our mind's going to go crazy, right? We have to stay busy and active. So I'm glad that you're still out here doing your thing, moving around. You got to give yourself time to grieve, but you also got to stay active at the same time.
Most definitely.
Definitely. Do you feel like Birmingham and Birmingham artists get their just due? Do they get their credit they deserve?
Not all of them.
Why do you think that is?
It's a lot of favoritism. I feel like it's a lot of favoritism. Everybody be in competition instead of just being united. Like it's so many talent that comes out the city.
Yeah.
But everybody egos get in the way. So, even I'm just particular of certain people I work with down there.
You have to be mindful of that.
Most definitely. So I protect my energy at all times. So I just don't just work with just anybody.
You have to protect your energy at all times, because I can tell you have good energy, you have a good spirit. Like it's radiating. I can tell when you walk through the door. I was like, okay, we're gonna have a great interview.
Most definitely.
You have great energy, and I'm big on that too. We got to protect it at all times.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. What would you say to the people out there who are playing, and you ain't got to say no one's name, obviously, but these people who are playing these favoritism roles, the gatekeepers, what would you say to people like that?
Honestly, it's really nothing you can say. Honestly, you just gotta pray for them.
There you go. No, that's facts. We gotta pray for them.
You just gotta pray for them. You know, like I say, hope one day they'll change. But everybody got to go through something to realize their own mistakes.
Man, that's all we can do. Just like these crazy people that be driving on the road, I'm like, let me just pray for this person because they must be going through something.
Most definitely.
So you've been doing music professionally for like around a decade.
Most definitely.
It's a very, very long time. My OG Bigger says you're not seasoned in this until you've been doing it for at least a decade. So you're officially seasoned in the music industry. What's one lesson that stuck with you through these 10 years that you've learned about this music industry?
Don't believe everything you see.
Elaborate a little bit.
Everything you see ain't gold. Salt and sugar look the same.
Smoke and mirrors, boy.
Yeah, so like I said, you're gonna run into some trials and errors doing this. So you just learn from every mistake. Anybody you meet is gonna either be a lesson or a blessing to you.
That's facts. What is one big lesson in particular that you learned personally, if you don't mind sharing?
Don't trust everybody.
Yeah. Listen. I felt that to my soul.
Yeah, I'm just being completely transparent.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be transparent because I feel like as an artist, that's what people want to see from you is they want to see that transparency.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. So through it all, what is keeping you going for a whole decade now?
Honestly, just God and, my mom, for real. Because, like I said, my mom, she had her hands tied up in a lot of stuff. So, I knew she wouldn't want me to quit. I knew my family wouldn't want me to quit. So,
yeah,
I got a lot of people just looking up to me. Like, even, my family, I got other families that's, that's doing music too. But they ain't doing it to the scale like I'm doing it. So,
yeah.
I'm just, just riding my waves. Just, just in my own lane, just doing me at all times.
Yeah.
So, hopefully they'll come aboard and get inspired by it. So I just continue just being that light, keep on being that inspiration to everybody. I show love a lot.
I could tell, again, you got that good spirit, and I feel like sometimes it takes some people a little bit longer than others to get on board because they may not quite understand what it is we do. Mm-hmm. I remember before my mom passed, she used to ask me, she's like, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I had to explain to her like the different things that I do. And it's like she always supported me, but she wanted to know how she could support me more by understanding exactly what it is I do. So we have to give people grace sometimes,
Right.
Comes naturally for us, but other people don't understand it.
Right.
Just like if I'm trying to look up under a hood under a car, I'm like, I don't know how to do none of this. It's foreign to me. I don't understand it. Absolutely. What are you going back to when you very first started? And actually, let's go back a little bit further than that. When you were younger, you're young now, but when you were younger, did you ever think in your mind that you would be the artist that you are today?
I knew I was going to be some one day.
Yeah.
Like I said, I ran through a lot of engineers and a lot of trials, just developing me as an artist.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't as confident as I am now, though.
Yeah.
So I felt like I just did my own artist development myself, kind of studied the game a little bit.
Understood.
And, now we're here.
Hey, we started from the bottom, now we're here, right?
Most definitely.
Absolutely. What initially really drew you in? Was it the fact that you were a fan of music? Maybe Mom Dukes was playing music around the house, what was it that initially drew you in to say, you know what, I want to do music?
What really took me serious when I finally had my viral moment.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so I was in the gospel group. So it was like 3 of us. And we did a small show at a church. And we didn't even know one of Kirk Franklin's singers was there. So she was one of the background singers or whatever. So she posted our performance, and it had just went viral. So before I know it, Tamar Braxton got a hold to it, World Star got a hold to it, and it just went from there.
Wow, that is major. It was a moment you never expected to happen, but it did.
Right, it happened without trying to happen.
Exactly. And those most organic moments mean the most because you weren't intending it. You didn't go in there saying, I'm about to make a viral moment. Mm-mm. You went in there doing what you love, and it went viral. How did that make you feel that so many people were tapping in?
It made me feel good. I got good and bad comments, but everybody, you know how it go.
That's a part of it.
Yeah, so it made me feel good though. Like I said, that was a very special moment. That was a very good achievement that, I finally reached.
Absolutely.
Get on those views all over YouTube and stuff like that. So half of my fan base came from that too.
Man, that is amazing. So gospel has been a part of your life for a long time.
Yeah, I grew up in the church.
Okay.
I grew up in the church. I just got to a level in my music I didn't want to be boxed in.
Understood.
So I just started doing whatever music I wanted. I wanted to make it because I wanted to be accepted.
Absolutely.
I never want to be boxed in.
Never, because it opens you up to a larger market, a larger fan base. Was your mom on board with you when you transitioned from gospel to the secular side of music?
My mom wanted me to do gospel.
Yeah.
But, I just, at the time, I wasn't doing everything I supposed to do, and I just couldn't just fake the funk. So I'd rather just be by myself.
Makes sense.
So, when I go to churches and, I still perform at churches.
Okay.
So, I still have gospel songs too.
Yeah.
But, I just want to, people just accept me for who I am.
Absolutely.
I never want to try to hide who I am. So if it ain't right, if you just can't accept me for who I am, I won't be a part of it.
I love that. That's the type of attitude to have, because too many people try to fit in. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to fit in. We want to stand out.
Most definitely.
And standing out means being yourself.
Most definitely.
Something I want to key in on real quick. You had mentioned that like you were getting good and bad comments like on WorldStar. WorldStar, in my opinion, no shade, but there's so many trolls over there.
It is.
You get maybe one good comment for every 500 bad comments, because people just go there to troll. Was that ever issue for you? Like, did you ever feed into that negativity, or has it always been like, man, I don't take this stuff personal?
Nah, I didn't take it personal. I just, of course, you're going to read the comments, but, everybody was like, oh, he shouldn't play with God like that, or all the other stuff. But it's like, we kind of, I feel like back then we kind of made the wave of, turning secular music to gospel music.
Absolutely.
So we started doing a lot of remixes, stuff like that, trying to be different,
Absolutely.
So, it worked. We did a few churches and stuff like that. So everywhere we went, people kind of knew who he was.
I like when people can combine that. Like, there's a lot of Christian rappers and, doing other styles of music, but they still keep it, true to who they are, but they throw a little bit of both in there. And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. I don't see nothing wrong with it either.
Absolutely. Is gospel music, I know like Southern Soul is pretty big in Birmingham, right? Mm-hmm. Is gospel music pretty big out there right now in Birmingham?
It's some good artists out there that's doing their thing, but our biggest artist right now is Pastor Mike from the city.
Definitely huge.
Yeah, huge. He's a good guy too. So
yeah,
he's doing his thing, and he's been a big inspiration to a lot of young people down there.
Absolutely, because major right there. That's dope. Definitely. You've got a track with the late great Doe B.
I do.
Man, let's talk about that a little bit. First and foremost, what was the experience like knowing that you were going to have a song with Doe B, because he was so well respected and just, within this industry and beyond? Man,
I had that was a special moment. Like I said, I got into it. I had reached out to the producer that I was working real close to Doe B, and he kind of set it up for us. I didn't get a chance to shoot the video, and still to this day I haven't released it, but I plan on releasing it sometime this year. So I just kept it because I ain't gonna lie. At the time, I didn't have a budget.
Understood.
To really reach its full potential of that single. So I just held on to it. It was special.
I think you did that the right way, because that's, especially now that he's no longer with us,
right.
You want to make sure that when you put that out there at any time,
it's going to be right.
It's going to be right.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. How did it make you feel to have a record with somebody who's no longer with us, but not only is he no longer with us, but he is from Alabama as well?
Like I say, Doe B was a big inspiration. It felt good. Like I said, that's one of my big accomplishments. So, like I said, I just took the time out, learned what I learned from him, coming up. Like I said, he was big out in Montgomery, so I just learned what I learned from him, and I just kind of rolled into my own.
Yeah.
So I always see myself like the part of that inspiration too from the city. So I hold Alabama to the highest peak. So I know it's the potential in the city. It's a lot of it.
Yeah. When you release the record, you got to go to Montgomery and do a performance with the record. They'll go crazy for it.
That's the plan. I plan on doing it with the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're doing now? Is doing performances? Is that something that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I do it. I do it if I ain't gonna lie. I don't do every club.
Yeah.
It just depends on the situation. But I perform. I pick it up and put it down. It just depends. Because I do so much other stuff. So I work on cars on the side. And then, me and my sister, we holding my mom daycare down too. So I do a lot of stuff. So I'm just kind of everywhere.
What does work-life balance look like for you?
I don't know.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Still trying to figure it out. I just keep going. So, that's all I do. I just work.
Man, so
on the shows, I just kind of it just depends. Sometimes if I'm working on a project, I won't do a show. I just study that, just get my project down packed. So I won't do a show. I won't do no music. I just focus working on my project.
There you go. Absolutely. I feel like every move you make has to make sense.
Right.
And this is what I try to explain to people because I don't show up everywhere either. And the reason being is, one, it's not safe to be everywhere.
Most definitely not.
Two, it's got to make sense. And
Right.
Three, if you show up everywhere, you slick water yourself down. Because they'll be like, man, I don't never need to book Beezy. He shows up anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that's the way people are going to look at it. So it's like you want to be particular about the moves you make because it makes your value go up.
Yeah, and some of the club promoters, they be tripping when you bring your own security too. So
Really?
yeah,
Really?
I'm serious. Like, they be already having their own security at
Yeah.
the club, but I bring my own security too.
Of course.
Because I don't have a big entourage or nothing like that. So I still try to make sure I make it home.
Man, Bigger does the same thing. When we do our events, the club has their own security. He brings his own security.
Got to.
You gotta, again, we gotta move with our head on a swivel. It's ugly out there.
Definitely.
People don't give a damn. They be quick to shoot and ask questions later.
Yeah.
That's why we got to be mindful of everywhere we go. That's why even here, I tell people don't bring more than 2 people because I'm typically here by myself. So I got to look out for my safety too.
I feel it.
I don't need
to.
13 people walking around in here and I don't know what their intentions are because,
Right.
People got a lot on their mind.
Exactly. Don't even have a real reason to.
Don't even have a real reason to. But that's good though. So you enjoy the performance part when it makes sense for you.
Right.
And then when you're in album mode, you're focused on that album
I don't
mode.
do no shows, no nothing. I'm just locked in.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
I done stood in the room with a lot of big artists in front of the city. But, like I say, I learned so much and the energy and stuff like that. I'm real big on energy. So,
Yeah.
I don't even work with everybody.
Yeah, you can. Are you the type of person, not even just as an artist, but the type of person that can walk in a room and just read and feel the energy in there?
Most definitely.
Know whether or not you need to be in that room?
Most definitely. I can feel it even when I do a show. Sometimes I experience the show. I got there. I didn't like the energy. I just left.
Yes. Because you don't want to take it home with you.
Right.
Energy can be transferred.
Right. I just left. So, it is what it is.
I've done that too. I've gone to places and I walk in and I just get this weird gut feeling that I don't need to be there. And I'm like, peace out. Because I don't know. Something just will let you know. And I think also too now more than ever, you got your mom with you protecting you.
Always.
She gonna make sure her baby's good, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel it every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk. You won your big accolades. You got this record with Dobie, which we're going to be able to at some point in time hear because you're going to put it out to the world when it makes sense.
Right.
Also being nominated as Birmingham's Breakout Artist of the Year.
Right.
What was the award show?
The award show was it's an event that happens every year. I forgot the guy's name. I haven't talked to him in a minute, but he hosts this kind of like a BET Awards, but it's an Alabama Music Award.
Yeah.
So it's be from different artists all over from Alabama, Huntsville, Montgomery, wherever you from. They all just some on perform, some on shows. They do the red carpet, they do everything. So
Well, congratulations.
I appreciate that.
Is the award show coming up soon?
I wouldn't know. He normally takes my phone on the nominations and stuff like that, so I wouldn't really know.
How did
But
that
I know it happened once a year.
Got you. How did that make you feel? Because what I tell people all the time, even if you don't go home with the award, you still won because to get nominated is a win.
Right.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel good, but it was like one of those situations. I enjoyed the moment, but it's still a lot more work to be done.
Yeah. My first award for the station came from Alabama, and it's the Alabama About Business
Okay.
Radio Station of the Year 2024, which was so dope because I'm not even from Alabama. So to be recognized out there, because I interview a lot of Alabama artists, it was super dope.
Right.
Yeah, so shout out to Alabama, man. I'm rocking with y'all, definitely.
We're rocking with you too. For sure.
How does your music reflect your real life?
I talk about my story a lot. I don't try to hide who I am. So I share a lot of my stories, a lot of my testimonies through my music.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I try to, give people a piece of me in every song. So when you hear it, you'll know who I am. You'll get a feel of who I am.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, I don't try to be nobody else but myself. So,
Do you write to inspire? Do you write to vent? Do you write to heal, or a little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of my own therapy. So, me going through what I'm going through, and just with my mom and just everything else I've been through. It just is shaping and molding me who I am.
Absolutely. We all need an outlet.
Most definitely.
I don't care who it is, because mental health is real.
Definitely.
We have to take time for ourselves, and we have to have something to pour into, and music is it for you.
Definitely.
Do you put pen to pad ever, or do you get in the studio and punch in? What's the creative process look like for you?
I don't like punching in. I don't like rush music.
So you write?
Yeah, right.
Do you write like on your phone, or do you put pen to paper, or a little bit of both?
I write phone. I write on phone.
Okay.
What I do is I go off the feel of the beat, and I just start writing in my phone.
Got you. So is it important to you to be somewhat vulnerable in your music so people really get to know who Beezy is, the artist?
A little bit, like I say, I sometimes become vulnerable without trying to be vulnerable.
Yes.
It just sometimes just happens throughout the music.
Especially when you go through certain emotional times in your life, like losing your mom, or
Right.
maybe a friend, or whatever it may be. That music is people going to feel it because you pouring into it.
Most definitely.
You pouring into it. What would you say out of your entire catalog that is out there that people could go listen to right now, if they've never heard your music and they're just discovering you for the first time today? What would be that first song that you would say, man, go listen to this song first to get to know who Beezy is?
Ooh, let me see. Beezy Lost Soul.
Tell us about it.
Lost Soul is a part of my life where I lost myself and still found myself at the same time. So I'm talking about why I feel like a lost soul, why I felt like what I felt like at that time. So to get a piece of me, I feel like you should listen to one of those kind of songs, or Separated. Separated is another good song that did pretty well for me.
Very personal records.
Right.
Did you go through a time where you ever wanted to walk away from doing music? Like you got to very close to that point?
Oh, yeah. It's been a couple times I wanted to quit.
What brought you back?
Probably because my friends keep me, they keep me grounded.
Yeah.
They keep me focused, So, like I said, my mom was never a quitter, so, she fought to the end. So,
yeah.
I'm just going to ride it to the end.
Absolutely. If you could go back 10 years ago when you first started doing this real seriously, right? What would you say to yourself back then for what you know now?
What would I say to myself back then?
If you could go sit down and have a conversation with Beezy 10 years ago.
I would probably tell myself, you're going to go through a lot of things. But at the end, it's going to build you up again. So, I don't know. I really don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question, though.
But you were on the right track with the answer, though.
Yeah. It's a lot I told myself. It's a lot, because back then I was a little insecure, too. So, it's a lot I probably would have told myself. That's a good question.
Well, let's take it back even further.
Okay.
If you could go back and talk to like your 10-year-old self, what would you say?
You could be whoever you want to be, just as long as you keep God first.
Yeah.
Blank out all the noise. Don't let nobody tell you can't be who you are. So that's one of the things I probably would have told myself.
Yeah. Do you think keeping God first and having a great relationship with your mom is what's kept you so grounded?
Most definitely where I came from. Like I said, I grew up in the church, so I done felt the presence of God. I look at things from a natural eye and a spiritual eye when I see people. So I can just, like you said, read the room, and you kind of see everything you want to see.
Yeah.
I done been in uncomfortable situations doing this and stuff like that, and I done seen how how some parts of the industry be real fake. Everybody wanna, when you do a song with them, oh, that's my brother, that's this,
right?
But then the moment, a couple months down the line, it changes, and you was just like, dang, you just said I was your brother, and you try to comment them on some genuine stuff, try to, hey bro, you good, you all right? Sometimes they don't even reply back, or don't reply back at all.
Exactly.
And then it just tarnished the relationship that you guys had. I done worked with an artist before, and I paid him. I paid him for the feature, right? He came to the studio session, he knocked out the song, and he told me, he said, yeah, bro, the video on me, whatever, it's gonna be free of charge or whatever. So I was going through what I was going through, my mom, and I finally reached out to her. I'm like, yo, it's about that time to shoot the video. He went back and said, oh, bro, that's gonna be another such and such, such and such. And I'm like, that ain't what you told me, whoop de whoop. He was like, bro, I don't remember telling you that, And it just like, I ain't know what he had going on with his label or whatever, but it's just like, just keep it real.
Exactly, keep your word.
Right, keep your word. So it's just like, you're gonna run into little situations like that working with some artists.
Yes.
Because at that time, if you don't do it that moment to do what you're gonna do with them, that next 2-3 months, they're gonna act like they ain't told you nothing.
That is facts, because if there's no documentation or video proof or something, it's your word against theirs.
Most definitely.
So it's like one of those things that, that was a spur of the moment thing, and you didn't even ask for it for free. He offered it.
Right.
But it's like, it's one of those things that kind of like says in the future going forward, let me get this ish in writing. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let me video you saying that so I got some sort of proof, because that kind of sucks, man. You get your hopes up like, dang, this is going to happen, and, bro's going to look out for me, and then boom, it's like a letdown. But keep it moving.
Oh, yeah. I always got to keep it moving.
Did you release the record?
Nah, I haven't released it yet.
In your feelings a little bit about it? Like,
nah, it ain't even that. It's gonna actually go on my next project. So
okay, I
just dropped the EP. So I'm probably next 2 months I'm gonna drop the next one. Then after that I'm gonna be ready for my real album. How
often are you in the studio recording new music?
I haven't been doing it a lot because I got so many unreleased songs.
Yeah, understood.
So I just been kind of just sitting back. Like I said, at the time, when my mom was here, I was just making sure everything was getting done. And then me and my sister was doing everything we can to hold the business down for us. So I didn't really have to go to the studio. So it just, most of these songs that y'all guys are hearing, they was already done.
Gotcha.
So I ain't gonna lie to you, I probably got enough songs to do by at least 4 or 5 projects.
Wow, you got a lot in the vault.
Yeah.
Do you think that every unreleased song that you have in the vault will at some point in time make it out there?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I said, I just, it's crazy because I did a remix to that Boston Richie that helped me. And it's been really doing pretty good. Matter of fact, Gucci Man just posted on his record label page.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, so it's called the Help Me G-Mix remix.
That's hard.
And I think we almost at, about 10,000 in about 13 days. So it's been doing really well.
That's dope, man. I think that what you did when you remix another artist's record that's kind of popping or is popping is a great way to shed some light on you and your talent.
Right.
That's like a genius idea. I feel like more artists should be doing that.
Yeah, I really liked that record when he came out with. I liked his subject matter in it. It was a good song, so I just put my own little twist to it, came up with my own hook, and just made it my own.
Boston Richie, I feel like, is one of those artists that is so dope and deserves more shine than what he gets. You know what I'm saying? He's just so super talented.
Definitely. It's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day because I was thinking about the artist Jacquees. And I feel like Jacquees is so super talented, but I'm like, dang, I just, not to say he's not a big artist because he is, but I feel like he could be bigger.
He could.
What do you think it is about some of these super talented artists that put in the work that are not getting their just due or the shine they deserve?
I feel like it's part of their label situation and also probably their circle too.
Right.
You know, it's not enough motivation to push certain artists.
Yes.
So I feel like you got to have certain people in your corner to really bring out the best of you.
How are you navigating through that? You know, because you said your circle's small.
It is. Like I said, most of my friends, you know, they work jobs and stuff like that, half on married and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, I came in the game by myself. So,
Yeah.
you know, everything I taught was by myself through life experiences. So, you know, I just know how to learn how to navigate by myself. So
Yeah.
I don't really have a big crowd. I don't really have nobody around me for real. But, you know, like I said, when it's time to do a show or anything like that, you know, I just book my own security. So I just kind of move very militant.
I feel like in today's society, it's better to be that way because
Yeah.
some of these artists feel like they got to have this huge entourage with them.
And they don't.
And they don't. Like, for one, it kind of comes off as corny.
Yeah.
Because you know all them people don't really rock with you like that.
Yeah.
Let's keep it G. And then the other thing is, the more people around you, the more problems that come with it. Because it could be this guy over here who ends up doing some dumb-ish and sheds bad light on you.
That's cool. That's what's going to mess up the career because I'd have been in the room with artists and, you know, you book a session with them. They got like 13, 14 guys all along, got guns on the table.
Exactly. That's
all
what
type of stuff. And I just feel like, you know, the professionalism be already out the window.
Yes.
So I feel like if you got to do all that, then, you know, you need to change your life around.
I agree.
If you got to live like that, if you got to go to that extreme like that every single time, you need to change your life around because you don't have no positivity around you.
Exactly. Them are the people that need to pull God closer to them.
Right. And a lot of them be lost.
They are super lost.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you feel like everywhere you go, that gun's got to be with you, something's not right.
And then, you know, like I said, just part of their circle because, you know, even though you came from that before you blew up, don't mean you have to continue moving like that.
That's right.
You know, so like I said, so many different ways that you can spend your money the right way without having your homeboys, because those be the same homeboys that get you jammed up in a RICO charge.
Exactly. That's exactly my point is just
Yeah.
it may not be you, but it's the people around you that get you, like you said, jammed up in a bad situation, and
Right.
you didn't even have anything directly to do with it. It's crazy.
Right. But just by your circle, just your you know, like I say, everything's so based off of image, you know, and then it's whatever you kind of put out. So you portray that kind of image, then
Yeah.
you got to learn how to set what comes with it too.
Absolutely. Listen, all my young artists out there, it is okay to be yourself.
Right.
Like, who you trying to impress?
Most definitely.
A bunch of people that really don't care about you. They do it for social media. Like, it's just be yourself.
That's all you can be.
Yeah.
That's all you can be. So, you know, when I get around guys like that, you know, sometimes I even turn around, you know, but, I keep it real with them. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, you ain't got to move like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you know, it got to be somebody in your circle that can tell you, or your manager or somebody that can tell you, look, bro, we can't keep going like this.
Yes.
You know, we got to switch some stuff around then, you know, because sometimes, you know, a lot of times, you know, they block out their own blessings, they block out their own room, because some people be like, hey, he moved with all this, I don't want him around me, so we're not going to allow him in this kind of room.
Yes.
So you just got to know how to conduct yourself.
Absolutely. And like what you just said, somebody around them needs to bring some awareness. And it's stop shading them, but educate them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I
Right.
see a lot of that go on social media, and it really bothers me. I see some of these so-called executives and people in power, and they really just talk down on a lot of these artists and basically calling them dumb. Well, rather than shading them, why don't you educate them?
Right.
Tell them if it bothers you enough to talk about it, then show them the right way to do it.
And nobody wants to do that.
Nobody wants to do that. And it's like, I do it often. Like when artists will send me music and it's not properly labeled, you know, if I happen to mention it to them, I'll even go as far as making a video to show them how to do it.
Right.
Because there might be other situations where they're not going to accept that song from them because it's not properly labeled. So I just want to set them up for success rather than failure, you know? So,
Right.
and it's the same thing. Your team needs to hold you accountable.
Definitely.
you know, because some people don't know how to do it for themselves.
Nah, a lot of them don't.
How would you define success for Beezy?
I feel like at the day and age that I am, I feel like I'm already successful. Like I said, I got so many different outlets for myself. So, you know, it's like in a situation like I don't need music, but I do it because I love it.
Yeah.
But, you know, the way by me setting myself up having so many different outlets to accumulate money, you know what I'm saying? I don't really need music. I just do it because I'm passionate about it and I love it.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I already kind of set myself up for my own success. So, you know, like I always tell people, you know, never limit yourself. You know, I always keep multiple incomes for yourself. Like even the ones that's trying to do music and still keep a job. A lot of them try to quit a job and, you know, still try to pursue music. But it's just like, if that's your own income, how you going to do music?
Exactly, because it's an expensive business.
Right.
It is okay to have a job. Like, I worked for many years before I was able to transition and doing this full time. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Like, I didn't day one say, oh, I'm quitting my job. No, I was juggling both of them and being a single mom at the same time.
You got to.
Gotta make it work. So yeah, anybody out there thinking about quitting your job and you can't fund your life, don't quit your job.
Don't quit it. I would recommend it. Don't quit it.
Let's talk about the project I'm Okay For Now.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is like, that title could really say a lot. I'm okay for now.
Right.
Very, very deep.
It is.
When you decided upon that title, where did it stem from?
Stem from my mom's situation.
Yeah.
You know, and just, you know, different past relationships that I experienced and stuff like that. So when I say I'm okay for now, it was just like a saying because that's how I felt at the moment. I'm okay for now.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say I'm at my best, but I'm okay for now. I'm okay for now. I can still work and still do what I gotta do.
Yeah. Do you feel like because of how you felt at that time to come up with that title that you're always a work in progress?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I'm always a work in progress. Always trying to be better than I was yesterday.
You are your only competition.
Most definitely. It's me versus me every day.
Every day. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you do?
I pray.
I know that's right.
I pray and after that, I work out. I just started working out.
Good
too,
for you.
You know, but the first thing I do is pray.
We have to wake up and thank God because we could not have woke up this morning.
Right.
You know, and I'm on that same type of time. That's the first thing I do is thank you, God, for another day. And start my day with prayer, start my day with positive affirmations. Because I feel like what we put out into the universe is what we get back in.
Most definitely.
So now you're on your fitness journey.
Right.
Listen, that's dope because I'll tell you, like, it's difficult to stick to it. I've come and go. It's been like a roller coaster. And I think that that's like that for a lot of people. So we can't beat ourselves up. We got to give ourselves some grace. It's it takes a lot of discipline. What made you decide to get on your health journey?
Before my mom passed away, is one of the subjects me and her talked about. You know, she wanted me to lose weight, stuff like that. So I just felt like it was just time for it.
Yeah.
So just time for a change. Like I said, you know, I kind of been doing other stuff, knowing what I want to do.
Yeah.
So when my mom told me, I kind of used to brush it off. Be like, oh, mom, I'll get to it, whatever. But, you know, now I'm just really on the road to that journey.
Super important to you because it was something that your mom wanted for you.
Right.
And mom is right, you know, because I'll tell you, the older we get, the more difficult it is. Like I tell a lot of these youngins, don't wait until you're my age to start your fitness journey because it's difficult because our energy levels aren't there. It's harder to build muscle. Like there's so many aspects that go into it. But I'm glad that, you know, you're still young and you're still out here, you know, getting to it because health is wealth, as they say, right?
Right.
One thing I say, I seen it online and I'll move on to the next subject, and it hit me so hard, is that you can have all the problems in the world until you have a health problem. Now you only got one problem. Your mom, my sister as an example, they both passed of cancer. They could have had all the problems in the world until they got that diagnosis that you have cancer. Now that's the only problem that you think about.
Right.
And it's just like, that's why it's, you know, and sometimes it's inevitable. You could take the best care of yourself and something's going to happen. But your odds are a little bit better if you're doing right by your body, right? So I'm happy for you that you're on that journey now.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. How do you feel? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Like I said, I don't think I'll never be okay. I just learned how to cope with it.
Mental health is real.
Right.
It is real. Let me ask you this, because you seem like a very transparent and vulnerable person. I feel like for men, it's okay to show your emotions, because I know a lot of men were brought up, don't show your feelings, don't cry. Men don't do that.
Right.
Do you feel like as a man it's okay to be a little bit vulnerable, and if you got to cry, you got to cry? Yeah,
it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got to decompress. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
Everybody need to cry. It's best to release it than hold it in.
That's facts.
Just make it worse if you just hold it in.
Absolutely.
So I don't try to walk around and
be hard all the time.
Right. Nah, I'm still human.
Exactly. That's where the human element comes into play. We are absolutely, and we all have emotions.
Right.
And that's something I was a single mom, and I had my son at a young age, and I always instilled that into him. It's okay to show and receive love.
Right. And a lot of time when I run across people who have that same kind of mental problem or whatever, I try to encourage them, because, the things I say to them is basically I'm talking to myself.
Exactly. Right. And it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's not to bash people or throw shade. It's to help them.
Right.
I feel like if there was more people like you in the world, that it would be a better place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Rather than downing people.
Well, I feel like that's part of my purpose too. I feel like that's part of my purpose God got me here for. So I always knew, I'm gonna be bigger than music for sure.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I know He got a plan for me. So I'm just walking that path.
You are truly walking in your purpose, because like you said, you're out here inspiring people, motivating people, uplifting people.
Right.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to set the example for other artists.
Y'all heard him. Have you ever thought about getting into like mentorship? Would that be something you'd want to do?
I was thinking about down the line probably starting a Big Brother program for the young kids. So I'm looking into that.
I think you would be great at that.
Right. Because I'm already working with kids at the daycare and my mom daycare too. So, I'm already kind of in that element, outside the music. So, I do back to school giveaways every other summer. So, I just continue just being that light, because I know what it's like. Like I said, I have so much respect for single parents, so I know I came from that era.
Absolutely.
I watched my mom work like 2-3 jobs just trying to
hold the house down.
Right.
Do you have any kids of your own?
No.
No.
I don't have none, but I want one.
You want one?
Yeah, I want at least one.
I feel like in life, that's not everyone. It's not for everyone, but I feel like for most people, it's the biggest, most beautiful blessing ever is to have a child.
Right.
That's your offspring right there. That's your legacy right there.
Right.
Man.
Right. So,
it'll happen when it's supposed to.
Right. So I got my nieces and nephews with me.
Yeah, them your babies.
Yeah. He doing pretty good. So he played for Auburn, so he doing his thing.
Amazing.
Yeah. So.
That's dope. That is dope. Yeah. Proud uncle.
Oh, definitely.
You unk.
Oh, yeah, I'm unk. And my niece just had a birthday, so, it was her sweet 16. So I just continue being an inspiration to her, too. So
absolutely. Let's talk about Supposed to Live. Another title that's just like, wow, I could tell it's full of emotion. That's the single.
Right.
One of your singles. You got a lot of great music out there.
Right.
What does this particular record mean to you?
Supposed to Live. That's another deep record. That, so my best friend, Marquel, he passed away. So, so he lost him in a gunfight or whatever. So, he was one of my dogs for sure. So he was always supportive. So one of that title came off of inspiration hymns, because I knew what God had for him too. So that's why I say he's supposed to live. Man. So so that's how I came up with that kind of title, that element, and also I was breaking some other stuff down that I was going through in that song.
You're releasing all that emotion through your music.
Right.
How long ago did he lose his life?
It's been about 5 years now.
Man. So difficult losing people close to you like that. But again, it goes into your music.
Right.
You know, you release that. Did you ever film a video for this particular record?
I haven't did it yet, but okay. It's actually one of the last videos I got to shoot for I'm okay for now.
Okay.
So I'm about to get ready to drop another one, probably Sunday. So I'm just sitting on content for real.
I know that's right. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So we talked about that you're truly walking and living your purpose. Mm-hmm. What is the legacy that you hope to leave through your music, through your business, everything that you're doing? What's the legacy that you want to leave?
I want people to see me for more than just an artist. I want people to see me something bigger than music. Like I said, I don't really got a title for it, but music just ain't gonna, I'm just not gonna stop right here.
Yeah.
So I also want to work inside the community and do different stuff too. So,
yeah.
Like I said, music just a platform that I just release and stuff like that. And whatever happens, I'm happy, but it's not my final destination. So it's so much stuff I want to do for my family and just all the upcoming artists around me. I want to kind of open that door, kind of like the same mission Doe B was doing before he passed away. So I want to kind of open that door too and try to guide people the right way.
I love that. I love what you just said. It's not your final destination, because I feel like, going back to what you said earlier, you got to have multiple streams of income. You got to have multiple things going on. And I feel like we only got one shot at life. We have to fulfill everything as much as possible we can, because we don't know when it's our time, right?
Definitely don't.
Man, what outside of, I know you're helping run your mom's daycare with your sister. You said you also work on cars. You a full mechanic around here? What's good?
Yeah, I mean, my boy Q, man, Dip and Go Customs. So anybody know what Dip and Go Customs is? We wrap cars and paint them. And
that's hard.
So we do swaps too. So shout out to my boy Q.
That's hard. Okay. Outside of those two things, you said you talked about maybe like a community sitter, things of that nature. Are there other business ventures that interest you at all, like that pertain to entertainment, maybe your own merch or anything like that?
Well, I have my own merch.
Tell us about it. Pop your ish.
So I got my own merch on. I got my own merch too. It's right now I'm getting it on my website. I'm getting a website built.
Yeah.
In the process, so people be able to order. So right now I've been doing in person, just drop offs.
Yeah.
So I don't want nobody to feel like, oh, he too good to drop some merch off or something, because every artist don't do that. So I pull up on you, show love. I got posters, I got everything. So,
okay.
I do my thing.
That's dope. What's the name of it?
It's basically based off this project, I'm Okay For Now. So on each hoodie, it got like a different saying that I said on the back of the hoodie.
That's dope.
So it has the cover of I'm Okay For Now, but each hoodie say something different, something that I said.
Is there any replicas? Like, is there any two hoodies that have the same saying on it, or are they all different?
They all different.
Man, so it's like a one of one.
Right.
Man,
so
a collector's item.
Right. So when you get that hoodie, ain't nobody else gonna have that same one. It's gonna look alike, but the word's gonna be different.
So you still have some available for people to purchase?
Yeah, most definitely.
So
all you gotta do is holler at me on Instagram and get with me.
That is dope, man. That's great. So do you think that that's something for going forward, like other projects you put out, you'll do the same concept?
Yeah. I want to go on a deeper scale with it, though.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I want to kind of put my songs into the clothing line a little bit, stuff like that. So I'm in the process of working on that, too. Absolutely.
What are a couple of big goals that you're manifesting right now, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, fitness journey. I want to lose my weight.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to do.
You got this. You got that. You gonna make that happen.
For sure. If I get one song go platinum, I'll be all right. So I feel like that's one of my goals too.
Get that plaque on the wall.
Yeah, I want to experience that. I want to know what that feel like.
Man, you will.
Yeah.
Because we're manifesting it right now. But you're not going to have just one. You're going to have multiple.
I appreciate that.
Multiple plaques on plaques on plaques.
I appreciate that.
And with the fitness journey, you got this. I feel like you know what you need to do.
Right.
For me, because I've been through the journey where I lost a lot of weight, gained some back. Now I'm on my journey of trying to lose again, because I recently gained like 15-ish pounds. For me, it's all in what I put in my body.
Right.
Because I do exercise and work out, but there's been times where I'll work out like crazy and I don't feel like I'm losing any weight. As soon as I change up that diet, boom, the weight starts coming off. I gotta come off. You gotta come off the sugars and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
definitely the bread too.
The breads, the starches and stuff too, like the pastas and the rice, and boy, it'll catch up to the midsection.
Yeah, it will.
That is really, really dope. So the record that I do have loaded up for you today is called Straight Drop.
Right.
Tell us about it.
Straight Drop. That was just I kind of made that one for the streets. Just like a hard track. You know, me just going in with no hook, no nothing. So I just named it Straight Drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who produced this one?
My boy, I think my boy John produced that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and is there like some performance videos for it? Like, do you do mic drop performance? Because Straight Drop sounds like you should do a mic drop for it.
I'm actually dropping the video to it tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow you're gonna see the official Straight Drop video.
What is your YouTube channel listed under?
Official Beezy Vivo.
Official Beezy Vivo. So make sure you guys follow that and tell them all your social platforms that you're on actively.
All right, my Facebook is Broderick Thomas. My Instagram is BenHim_still_him. I can follow me on there, so you know that's where I'm at.
Being him, still him, huh? Come see about him.
Right, for sure.
I know you have a lot of people that's probably really loved and support you through your journey. Who do you want to give thanks to?
I want to give thanks to my dog Q, my boy DJ, my boy Cleve, who else? My boy Kyle, Allen, family, so many other people. But you know, through it all, God most important. I like to thank God for sure. So, like I said, you know, He gave me the gift, so I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
with it.
Absolutely, and thank you for being such a dope person.
I appreciate it.
Pat yourself on the back. You know what I'm saying? You deserve that.
You're pretty dope yourself.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Most definitely.
So we about to get into this record. Anything else that you're working on? Anything else coming down the line that we did not talk about that the people need to know about?
I'll be dropping my next project in July.
Okay.
So I'll be dropping again in July. So you guys just give me a little minute. I'm going to drop again.
You working.
Yeah, most definitely.
I love it. Well, let's go ahead and get into the record if you can introduce it for us.
All right, y'all. It's your boy Beezy, man. Checking in on Hype 87.3. Y'all get ready to listen to my new single, Straight Drop. Hope you guys enjoy it for sure.
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's do it.
Come and see what all the hype is about. Tune in to the Hype 87.3.
Yeah. Did that straight drop. I've been him and I'm still him. Man, I ain't finna put a hook on this bitch. I told these boys that I'm next up. They too busy playing catch up. I'm aiming to your neck up. Who the fuck gon' really come check us? Y'all little niggas been running my patience. Thought I fell off, you selling mistaken. Slide on niggas, ain't talking matrix. Glock stay with me, I don't need no safety. I'm in the field, just like Haitians, my pocket full.